What stage of your life did you discover your purpose, so that you were living in your purpose? And was there a series of events or a singular event that triggered it?
Definitely not. Like I said, I still consider purpose to be multifaceted, you know, but when I realized that my children are grown, I have grown grandchildren now who are basically can stand on their own. They are in college or they are minors, but I see where they can stand on their own because I was aware of the necessity to invest in your children because I thought that this was the biggest investment that you could make. And now that they reach a standard that they can stand on their own because of the input or because where I assisted them to. And I said the burden now is for them to leave the same legacy for their children. And if I am relieved of this burden, I don't have any student loan to pay. I don't have to fund their student loan. I don't have to assist them. I gave them a start in owning their home. All three of my children are homeowners. I gave them a start and they did not have, my son, who is the eldest, he was working for a company and an opportunity presented itself for him to purchase something. Instead of renting, I assisted him with the purchase and he became a homeowner. And so are my other two children. So I started them in the direction that I did not have the opportunity to. I was not favored like getting a gift from my parents to start. I started pulling my bootstrap up and was able to establish myself. So now I see that they are basically let's call it self-sufficient. I said, let me see if I can divert my energies or my resources to other avenues to the goodness of humanity.
Of humanity. So let's talk about our children, and not necessarily your children, but children in general. Do you think that there's enough awareness about purpose where these younger folks are concerned? Or do you think there should be a push towards creating that awareness?
I am an advocate for a push. I believe that it should start as early as kindergarten. Take, for example, managing a credit card. Many students in college are bombarded with these credit cards, and they did not learn neither from their parents or in school how to manage a credit card. And it already, by the time they leave college, they are indebted. So financial management should be started early in life. And so that it should be one of the important curriculum in the school syllabus to give them a foundation that they can build on and an awareness of the pitfalls that they encounter as they progress in life.
It's interesting that you say parents, and one of my guests that came on, when asked that question, they said that, it's important that the parents must first understand how to explain and have this discussion about purpose so as to lead their children and make sure they're imparting the right message. So as we talk about children, that there's also a need with us adults. Do you find that within your circle of friends and family members, is this a common discussion?
Dr. Stevens, some of these parents, they need to be educated themselves. Because if you can't lead by example, it's hard for you to disseminate, something that you cannot exemplify. It would be so much easier if you can lead by example.
Leading by example, right? And not just words.
Right.
But action.
Yes.
Action, yes, indeed. And as before we got started with this interview, I explained to you that creating awareness is one of the driver behind a collision with purpose, and not just in children, but in us adults, with our friends or neighbors, just to have us talking, having dialogue about something as important as purpose, I believe there are great rewards and returns in this type of discussion. Do you agree?
I agree. But sometimes in my own circle, like I have some church family that I would hang out with, and I would overhear. Sometimes the argument is not directed at me, but I would hear of them having issues with even a mortgage or a purchase or considering to relocate. Here I am in their midst, a wealth of information, free of cost to them. But for whatever reason, they do not want to tap into this resource. Part of the reason is maybe their association is with a family member. They would rather, I have my house to sell, but my nephew is a real estate agent. So I give it to my nephew. And then when they hit struggles, then you hear them exchanging things. Meanwhile, if they had consulted me even in the initial stages, I could afford them some information. I am part of a men's group at church. It's kind of not functioning now, but I was asked to speak on this subject of mortgages or financing a home. I introduced prepayment process to my men's fellowship group. 32 members, I think, was in the group. One and only one person took me up on the offer because to them it sounded too good to be true. And I had my paperwork. I showed them my prosperity in this business was because I understood how to prepay a mortgage, to pay a 30-year mortgage down in 17 years at practically no additional cost, especially in the early stages when the principal is low and you can afford an extra payment. I say you pay 1 month, you pay the principal on the following month. When the following month comes, you don't have to pay that. The payment you're making is for the month behind that. One and only one brother took me up on it. I think part of the reason too, maybe they don't see maybe the authority or the qualification behind what I'm trying to disseminate. And so if it was coming from another source, we are creatures of habit.
Right, right.
And it would have resonated with them more than is coming from one of their own brothers.
I think it's time we focus on the information that we're receiving.
Yes.
And pay attention to that as opposed to judging the individual.
Yes.
Delivering the message. I think we lose and we miss out on many opportunities. So, but I commend you for sharing and wanting to make a difference and to give the type of information. What's the benefits for you? It's free information you're sharing, and that will benefit the individuals receiving it. So hopefully that will change, that they will start to accept and see you in a they say that you're never a king in your own home, right?
Right.
Yeah, in your own home. So it literally takes a stranger to come in and say the same information that you would say, and most people tend to want to accept that, which I believe is quite unfortunate.